I'm tired of seeing people pay 3, 6, 12, $5,000 for spiritual help. That is the source of this video. Oh yeah, strap in because I'm going there. So I figured I'd go over the stages of spiritual development so that way you can know where you are. Think of this as like, those giant mall maps and the you are here. This is a you are here moment, right? So when you first start out developing spiritually, you're usually unhappy. I don't think I've read too many people who've come to spirituality who were just fucking happy, because if you were, you probably wouldn't have found it, because spirituality involves engaging the imagination, and imaginations are usually produced in less than happy environments. It's a form of escapism. It's just science. So you come to it because you're disillusioned with life in some way. And here is where you become able to fall victim to a lot of the things that happen to neophytes, such as paying for courses you don't need, studying fucking shit about the Illuminati that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China, learning about esoteric principles that don't make any sense to anyone at all. Like, no matter how many times you read it, that shit will not process or compute. And people will make it seem as though because you don't understand, you're some kind of sheep or something who's still falling asleep. So it's easy to get stuck at this level. This is kind of like your spiritual heretic level, right? But if you can be so bold as to get past this level, you'll get to level 2, where you want positive vibes only, or you got all the flavors of incense. You have every single crystal known to man. You have 79 packs of tarot cards and shit, and oracle cards and angel cards, and 311 fucking idols on your shrine, because you want to work with all the energies at one time, right? It is at this point that most people get stuck. Again, it's really comfortable here, right? You can send out positive vibes and look at angel numbers here, and everything is a byproduct of your thoughts, and you can manifest, and you do your vision boards and all of that shit. If you're not getting it, it's because, you just didn't think hard enough. It's the secret shit, right? This is the level that you'll find most of your beginner teachers, your people charging anywhere between $50 to $200 for a reading, because they got some extra information, and they can make a little money off of it. Spirit wants you to eat too, kind of shit, right? And I'm not saying that spirit don't want you to eat. It does, but come on. And then 9 times out of 10, the readings at these levels are telling you things like your great aunt Sally's best friend told you that she put a curse on somebody by turning around 3 times, and there was a cat crossing somebody's path or some bullshit. I don't know. And now you have to buy a $500 reading / spiritual bath, which ain't nothing, that didn't cost but about $5 because they took some water and boiled some herbs under moonlight. Right? So, you get past that stage eventually, if you're willing to dig a little deeper. Then you get to the stage of the master, but not really the master, because now you're just trying to learn everything under the sun, right? And now it's like you get tool after tool after tool. So them 79 oracle decks was just not as good because they weren't engraved in gold. And obviously you need to work with gold tarot cards at this point, because if you don't, you can't channel the messages correctly. That's absolute bullshit, right? If you can make it past this point, you have to be brave enough to get past your mentors, brave enough to get past the self-proclaimed gurus who are only coming up with these ideas to figure out how to get rich while they're on this planet. If you can get past those motherfuckers, then you get to stage 4. Stage 4 is by far the hardest stage because it's equivalent to a dark night of the soul. And at stage 4, you begin to question why anything matters, right? And you start to feel a lot like the prophet in fucking Ecclesiastes, like, what is the point of it all, right? And it is here at stage 4 where you begin to do shadow work, right? See, anyone that's telling you that spirituality is happiness, sunshine, and fucking roses has not made it to stage 4 yet, right? Spirituality ain't fucking unicorns and rainbows and shit flying out of people's asses. It's work because you are confronting the dark side of yourself. And it's not all darkness either, just like it's not all light. It's balanced, right? Because we have two poles for a reason, to keep things balanced, right? And stage 4 is where you get humbled by realizing the parts that you played in things that happened to you, things that you had control over. And the things that you didn't have control over, you get to the point where you can reframe it in such a way so that you can have peace. You make your own closure at stage 4, right? Nobody can do that for you. Stage 4 is lonely. Stage 4 is exhausting. But if you can make it through stage 4, you've already bested about 80% of the population. And this is not a competition. This is just to tell you where you're at, right? Because it's hard to make it past sunshine, rainbows, and fucking roses because life is shitty, right? Especially now. It's even more shitty than our parents prepared us for, right? This is just what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm a millennial, so yeah, so once you get past that stage and you get to the all is lost. Now, I know when I got to that stage, I contemplated suicide. I felt like Pac. At quiet times, I once contemplated suicide and would have tried, but when I held that 9, all I could see was my mama's eyes. I felt that. But in my case, it wasn't just my mom's eyes. It was my kids. It was my husband. It was all of that because all I could see was darkness at that point. Now, I'm not saying that darkness is all that you see, but it's going to be really like strong to the point where you might need to get help outside of the spiritual community. I know I had to. I had to go and seek a professional therapist because that shit was heavy. And they gave me coping tools and mechanisms that I needed to be able to pull up out of that space. And it takes a while to get up out there. And then I got to stage 5, right? And stage 5 is hard to come to because it involves you doing something that not a lot of people want to know. And that means how to find light in any situation. Now, hear me. This is not the positive karma bullshit that you saw in stage 3. I mean light, as in the things that had to happen in order for you to be exactly where you need to be right now. And if you can find that thread of light and you can now begin to see it in the past, and now you turn around and begin to see it in the future, right? Now you can start making better choices and decisions because you recognize the signs that you may have ignored back in stage 2 and 3 and 1, really, right? And that is when you start beginning to trust the universe and realize that the universe isn't benevolent or malevolent. It's whatever the fuck it needs to be to get you to your destination. And once you realize that, you can start following along with it. Now, I'm sure there are other stages after this. Right now, I'm only at stage 5. So as soon as I figure out what the next stage is, I will gladly pass the information on to you. I'm thinking it's probably the Guru Master stage, which is where you kind of come together and integrate all of the lessons of the previous 5 stages, and now you begin to take on different types of challenges. That's what I'm thinking that it's going to be, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm on my way. So stop buying all the tarot cards. You only need one deck. Whichever deck you vibe with, work with that shit. And at some point in time, if you really diligent with your shit, you should be able to read with anything. You should, because at the end of the day, you're looking at patterns and going off of intuition. So the real strength of a reader is their connection with spirit. And if they don't have a strong connection, you're going to get these bullshit ass readings that's going to have you paying $550,000 and $11,000 shit for some fucking ritual that didn't change a goddamn thing in your life. Because at the end of the day, you were the one that had to do the work, not no damn cow. But I digress. So yeah, those are the stages. As I learn more about the other stages, I will be glad to go ahead and share them with you, because I believe that sharing is caring. They call it the Aquarius tendencies in me. So y'all have a good one. Deuces.